Hi everyone, welcome back to Sid's Killer Reviews. This week we have Alex, my sister.
Hi.
And we're going to be reviewing Leon, the Professional, starring Natalie Portman.
Overall, the movie as a whole was horrible. In my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I think it was probably easily one of the worst movies I've ever watched.
Absolutely.
In my entire life.
Yes.
It was so bad. The music gives very Law and Order SVU the entire time. One of the opening shots where they're videotaping the streets of New York. It's very shaky, it's very home video. Typical. It's what I expected, but then you get into the plot line and throws you for a loop. Because I've just never...
So what would you give it out of 10?
A 0.
Oh,
It was so bad. I mean, maybe that's a little bit dramatic.
it did have some entertaining bits, you know.
Sure, I mean, it had its funny parts, but I think it was funny because it was bad. I don't think it was funny because it was entertaining. Maybe a 2 or a 3, somewhere in the low range. What would you give it on the scale of 1 to 10? Like how far? I mean, you're the professional here. Like,
I'd probably give it like a 3.
3. So yeah, we're
2 to 3. Yeah, it was not great by any means. It was
No.
definitely. I mean, he was a good assassin. I will give
right. Yeah.
For the whole reviewing page that I do, he is a very good assassin.
Right. I would agree with you.
He's really good.
But his personality as just a character, like I said when we were watching the movie together, it just seems a little bit odd. He's a very interesting. Like if you were to compare it to Denzel Washington's character in Equalizer, kind of the same. Very meticulous, very particular about how. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like overall, he's just an odd character. Like, he has to have milk, he has to sleep with sunglasses on, he sleeps in his chair with a gun next to his bedside table. He's alone, he has to be alone. Like
His plant.
His
One prized possession is that
best friend.
stupid plant that totally could have died like multiple times throughout that movie.
Yeah,
so
looked broken some of the time.
Oh, it looked broken most of the time. Yeah. Her story was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Her character was very underthought, I think. Development was weird.
All of the development. There wasn't.
There wasn't a ton of good development. It's a tough movie to say good things about because. Yeah, I just remember we watched the movie together, and I remember asking her multiple times throughout the movie, "What are you making me watch? Because this is so bad." The love story between a 12-year-old girl and a 40-year-old man, like. Uncomfortable. I was so wildly uncomfortable. If I didn't have to watch it to make a review about it and understand the movie as a whole, the second that kind of dynamic started to happen, click, like it was going off.
What didn't you like? Like, what were some of the small things you didn't like?
Some of the acting was just not good.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman's character gave a little bit of Joker, but also not always good Joker, like kind of cringy. Like when he popped pills, that whole sequence, unnecessary.
I thought he played it well.
I thought he did too. Like I said, I think when he channeled Joker, like a Heath Ledger Joker, he did very well. I really like this character. But the rest of it was just weird. There wasn't a whole lot of suspenseful plot points like that where you had to be like, oh, that's what's happening. There was like one.
Yeah,
so
even then you predicted it, where like he pulled the pin on the grenade.
Right. Right.
But
which, great ending.
that was a good ending.
Yeah, that was. I like that.
That was probably one of the best parts.
Yeah, agreed. Totally agree with that.
So was that your favorite part? Favorite scene?
Probably. I mean, everybody likes a happy ending, right? You don't have to have a old man-child relationship because he's dead, and then you kill the bad guy, and it's a win-win situation. So, what about you?
My favorite scene is, it was really weird, but it made me laugh, is when...
You giggled a lot through this movie.
Yes, I think some of it was like cringe laugh, but
I think a lot of it was cringe laugh. Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes is when they do the impressions of people, and they're like walking.
Oh,
in and out.
yeah.
Like
Yes.
hers was really weird because she was pretending to be Marilyn Monroe.
Well, she did a couple. She did like Cyndi Lauper. She did Marilyn Monroe. She did Gene Kelly.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then he went, and he was like doing the cowboy walk, and it was really
Who did
funny.
he?
John
Clint
Wayne.
Eastwood? Oh, no, John Wayne. Yeah.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
funny. And then I think it's also tied with the they smell like pigs or whatever. And he's like, don't say that. Pigs
Oh,
don't smell.
That
And
was
he
a
got
good part of that movie.
He got the oven mitt and went.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was like really weird, but it was funny.
No, I thought that was very well. That's when I thought originally it was going to be like daughter-dad relationship. And I was like, oh, that's cute. Like, even though he seems like the type that's not good with kids or
people,
other people, right? People in general, unless he's killing them. That was like a very kind of.
I do like that he has the rule: no women, no kids. That's like a lot of assassins are very unmerciful, where he's like, I won't take a job if I know that there's going to be women or kids there that I have to kill or something. Which
Agree. I think that's
respectable. I think one of the worst things, in my opinion, is just how confusing it is overall. Like how the first night Natalie Portman's character is standing there, he just wakes up and points a gun at her head in the bed.
I don't know, he's a hard character to pin down. His personality is very difficult to pin down.
Yeah. I think I would have liked the movie more if it didn't have the weird romance spin on it between a 12-year-old and then a grown-ass man.
I totally agree with you.
I think if it would have stayed with the daughter-dad dynamic, it would have been cute.
A way better movie.
Yeah, it would have been more.
I feel like that's where most of like the uncomfortable energy came from was, what am I about to watch? You know what I mean? You don't know if it's gonna go too far, kind of thing. And it never really does. It sort of implies some things, but not enough for you to be 100% sure.
It's definitely uncomfortable.
Everybody can agree that a 12-year-old and a 40-year-old man should never happen.
It's a bad movie to the point where it's not entertaining and it's not something you should go out of your way to watch.
Oh yeah, I would never recommend this to anybody. Unless they're looking, like actively looking for like a really bad movie. Be like, oh. What was your favorite assassin scene?
I really liked when the DEA guy, Gary Oldman's character, calls in like 200 plus men to go after him, and he's like up in the ceiling and doing like the sit-up things that you see him training with, and then he like kills all of them. They do a bomb and he comes out with the gas mask. Like, he's very smart.
Agreed, yeah.
So you can see like how very John Wick-esque, where it's one man versus 200 and he survives. That was cool because, and again, it shows that he's vulnerable. I like when they show assassins being vulnerable, that he does get shot, he does get hit, you know.
My favorite was honestly the opening of the movie, because I think that I had thought when we watched that scene that it was going to be a good movie.
Yeah,
me too. Because here's this sleuthy little assassin nobody can pin down, nobody knows where he is. He's picking people off one by one, not just traditional ways, creative, hiding in the rafters, like hiding behind a window.
Can't see
comes out of
camera,
nowhere, So that kind of was like, oh, maybe this is going to be like a really good movie where they know how to direct an assassin scene and they know how to, you know, make a character like intimidating, mysterious. And then most of the movie's not, you don't see him doing his job. It's more about the relationship between him and Tilda. Which is like fine. But
I think the opening scene of him killing all those henchmen and then threatening that one guy, and then even the scene with the DEA officer killing his family, they were both filmed very well. Those were probably, they got me excited, thinking that this is going to be a good film, this is going to go somewhere.
Right.
And then,
well, because you're right. You don't really see much outside of, you know, assassin's job versus bad guy job in the first however many minutes of the movie before you get to like the weird dynamic that takes over the rest of the film. Not much really else to say. Not a good movie still. No. A couple shining moments, but not enough to make it worthwhile.
Nope.
What do you mean? Pigs are just the same as humans. They do not smell.